Heavenly Ham says, since the kids are back home, will you be going back to cook SpaghettiOs for them? No, but I did hear about CPS letting those kids go back into the house. I'm guessing the parents are moving in or there's some kind of supervision, because it did sound like from that hearing that they don't trust the Rekieta's efforts so far. But CPS, their goal is always to reunite the families. So they're trying to find a way to do that. I'm guessing the parents probably watched the, how to spot a fucking lying liar who lies on cocaine videos. And they're like, okay, well, now the kids can, the kids can be back there in that regard. So, I mean, hopefully it straightens them up. I have a hard time believing people can just quit all that shit cold turkey long term. And then you throw the stress of, they obviously, I was there. They weren't able to handle that many children before. They just weren't able to. They were falling apart, like, not like just even drugs or anything, but they were just falling apart as human beings. Like they couldn't keep their shit together. Like their inability to handle life tasks is shocking. It pulls at the very thread of their lives and existence. So I don't know if that stress is good, but if they've got parents either living in the house next door or whatever, if they got somebody to keep an eyeball on them, no disrespect, but both Nick and Kayla need a mommy and a daddy. I don't, them having kids is babies raising babies. I don't know if they never had to be responsible for their own children. They had to be at some point, right? But, yeah, it would be good if the kids are back there, but, like, the grandparents are there, because Nick does need mommy or daddy to look over him. Big time. Big time. Kayla, too. So, yeah, I don't know. Apparently they're back. Hopefully the drugs and everything like that are out of both houses. Hopefully there's no drinking. That would be nice, because they can't handle drinking either. Drinking is fine. Like, if you have a couple of beers on the weekend, that's fine. But some people just can't handle drinking, and they're one of those people. They can't handle drinking. They just probably shouldn't have any of it. But, yeah, I heard that last night. Now they can just focus on that criminal thing. Honestly, just plead out the criminal thing and fucking be done with it. Admit you did coke, or admit you do coke, or whatever you have to admit. Admit that, move on. You would think getting your kids back would make you realize this isn't worth fighting, especially when you're fucking buried in it. You're done. Admit what you did, move on with your life. That was my advice from the beginning. Admit what you did and move on with your life. But if there's no point in getting the kids back if you're still going to go down with the criminal ship. The kids being back is going to be a very temporary, fleeting sense of euphoria for you. If you, can't handle the stress. But if you have mommy and daddy to help you, that's good. But if you don't just admit what you did, accept it, and move on with your life, then it doesn't matter that you have your kids, because you didn't learn anything. Somebody says, isn't April watching over them? Yeah. That's not a good idea either. It's not a good idea. She needs a lot of help. McBuster, Gino, Kiki, win by 2. All those barnacles do not deserve any recognition for the Lifetime special. Tell the dude to bypass them and go to Kiwi Farms. Save Meltons with Chris Hansen until the last. I haven't talked to that guy in a couple days. And he he kind of gave me one of those what's up ? Message. I just don't have time. I don't want to deal with it. I'm flattered that the guy thought of me, but he sounds like a guy who's very ambitious and wants to move up in that world, and also follows a shitload of YouTube drama. Like, he should see if he can get the Boogie story. Like, he could write the Boogie movie, Lifetime. Well, no, that's not really a Lifetime movie, isn't it? Because there has to be sex and women and death and all that shit. So that doesn't really work. Deutsch Chad says a plea deal will require drug treatment if no jail time is sentenced. Right. You can still probably get off scot-free. You just have to admit what you did. But, like, this weird thing of admitting what you did, this idea of, like, worrying about what the internet thinks is going to lead to your demise. Like, this whole idea of, like, I'd have to admit I did blow and that all that coke was mine after I lied about it all this time. It's like, so what? You can't be a man until you admit what you've done wrong and you work to change and you work to better yourself. So, this idea that, like, I got to keep fighting this because the state has a duty to prove and this and that. It's more like, no. It's like what a man does is a man admits when he fucked up and he does better. That's what it is. Someone said, interesting note of public record attached. No, I don't think there was a new public record thing. I haven't been looking. But I don't think, yeah. No, it doesn't look like there's a new matter of public record. Lifetime movie title, Not Without My Baldo. Bigot on Socialist Media says, I'd be more concerned about what my kids think of me if I didn't have brain damage. Yeah, like you want to move on for your children, right? You want to move on. You want to admit what you did, move on. Like, that's a good lesson to teach your kids, too. Like, the lesson you teach your kids are, no matter what, like, if you do wrong, you own up to what you did, you admit to what you did, and you move on and you do better. Like, teaching them that lying to save your own ass, that's not a good lesson to teach. Like, now, like, your children being back in your home should give you perspective and should make you go, oh, you know what? I really, I should just come clean, admit what I did, and start doing better, because you really can't improve and you can't do better until you admit the things you've done wrong. Otherwise, you're just masquerading. So, but it's kind of like the Will Sasso thing, talking about Chris D'Elia. It's like he'll get out in front of it, he'll be honest about it, and just admit what you did, or don't. Oh, interesting new matter of public record attached should be the name of the Lifetime special. Oh, okay. Some people like Not Without My Baldo. Wild Saffron says, Nick's lesson to his kids. Look, grandma's money bailed me out, but that doesn't mean I will change my ways. Unfortunately, right? But now this is a golden opportunity for him to, like, this is a growth opportunity. This should be exciting. Got your kids back. Now admit what you did. Put all the criminal stuff behind you. They'll probably just give you probation. And as long as they'll have to test you. The government will be up your ass for a few years. But that'll give you a chance to get clean, too. No drugs, no booze. You can live a more fulfilling life. $2 from Mild says, are you going to challenge Camelot to a boxing match? I mean, does he want to get... I mean, if it was a race, he'd win. If it was a boxing match, I would. He roasted you last night, said girls at his gym are more intimidating than you. Well, I mean, there's only one way for him to find out. But I don't think he would. Yeah, he's weird. Like, he kind of became Nick's slave again. Like, I remember when he was being really honest and he was doing that thing where he's like, look, they're not called sometimes icks, they're called addicts. And it's like, okay, you know what? At least this guy's not giving any bullshit. Now he's spinning bullshit. Internet people are weird. They feel like they can get clout from other people. And it's like, yeah, but at what expense? Like, now you're not a person. Now you're a gimmick at this point.